Sup Kiddos, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another installment of Tales of Tragedy. Today marks a tale that got spurred because spring is on its way, hopefully, maybe, I think. This is a tale about me when I was a little dude. Basically, it's a tale that also teaches a lesson about being honest. So I was a pretty imaginative kid and I told a lot of stories as a child, and that led to me telling a lot of lies in order for me to, one, get out of trouble, or two, look cool. The first was significantly more important to me than the second. So by the time I was 6 or 7, my parents took what I said with a grain of salt because a part of it they believed was fabricated, and most of the time they were correct. So I am outdoors playing one day, getting into it with like rocks and sticks. My parents used to get me toys all the time, and still a stick was my number one toy to wield as a child. It was my favorite thing. You could be a wizard, you can be a samurai, you can be a chivalrous knight. As far as the rock goes, I don't know, maybe you'd have like a friend or something. I genuinely had the hardest time telling the truth at that point because lying was such second nature to me. So one day I'm outdoors and I'm playing rocks and sticks, getting into it. My father is doing garden work. So at one point in time, he goes, "Hey baby, you want to come over here and check something out?" And I go over to him, and he's currently holding and trying to keep hold of a little garden snake. Garter. Who the hell knows? I can't remember. So basically he goes, "Hey, you want to hold it?" And little me's just like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Note to self, my father is a full-grown man who has full-grown arm length, so he can keep this snake reasonably away from all of his vitals. Me, as a 4-year-old, there's only so much space I can hold it away from my head and like face. So I'm holding it and it's like coiling around my fingers. It's very obviously trying to escape, and I start talking to Dad about something. And while I'm doing that, the snake sneaks its head around this way, and when I look back, it strikes, boom, and gets me right here on the lip, and it actually breaks skin. So Dad immediately goes into panic mode because he has a wife who is very protective of her 2 sons. And anytime they get hurt, it's somebody's fault. Therefore, someone's got to hang. My mother is a Sicilian woman straight out of Boston. So threats to sick the mob on people is something that she has been joking about for as long as I can remember. So my dad goes, "Go inside, talk to Mom, I'll take the hit, like just go get Mom, give you a band-aid." So I run in, I'm not hurt at all. And I tell her, I'm just like, "Hey Mom, I got bit by a snake." I lied for most of my childhood. So Mom is just humoring me because she's a supportive mother, but at the same time, there were times where she told me like, "Hey, cut the shit, tell the truth." But she's sitting there going, "Okay, how big was it? Like what was its color?" And I'm giving her straight answers, and she's starting to realize, and I could remember vividly seeing on her face, like, this isn't adding up, this is making sense. And most of the time his stories have like gargantuan holes in them. But then eventually she kind of leans in and goes, "Baby, what happened to your face, babe?" And I looked at her and I went, "Mom, I got bit by a snake." And of course, being the mother that I have, who has never panicked a day in her life, she dealt with the situation with absolute and complete composure. That is an outward lie. Guess I'm still doing it. My mother freaked the crap out. I remember hearing her scream. She picked me up, she runs to the phone, she calls the poison center, is on the phone, on the verge of tears, just being like, "My son got bit by a snake in the mouth. Is he gonna get sick? Do we need to go get him a shot?" One thing I want to shout out to parents: if you freak out, if you watch your kid fall, get hurt, or anything like that, it immediately scares your child. 7 to 8 times out of 10, a kid cry because their parents' reaction scares them, not actually because they're hurt. Just something to be aware of. I immediately panic at that because I, to this day, hate needles. I understand that I need to go get my annual flu shots. I had to get vaccinated when I went to Tanzania a couple years ago. I don't know why they scare me so badly. It's not like I've had a bad experience with getting a shot. Like nothing's ever snapped off while it's inside. It's just something that is in me that isn't supposed to be there. But I'm realizing now how weird that sounds. Perverts. Basically, the poison center calms my mother down and goes, "Look, snakes on average have some of the cleanest mouths in the world because they don't chew their food, so I'll probably be fine." And I was, which was great. My mother thinks to this day that she acted correctly. It is something we will forever disagree on, and that's okay. My moral of this Tales of Tragedy, real quick though, is be honest, because sometimes when you really need people to listen to you, they won't, because they're so used to you being deceitful that they won't bother to listen to you. Someone could get hurt physically or emotionally. You may miss a time frame, you may miss an opportunity just because you can't be honest. That wasn't the first time my mom called the poison center. She called them numerous times because I got up to stuff as a kid, and as a child, the one exploratory orifice that I used on repeat was my mouth. I picked it up, and I once ate 3 robin's eggs. Like robin eggs, because they looked like those weird whoppers. They were like funny colored misshapen whoppers, and I used to love those things, and it took me eating 3 of them before I went, I don't think these are Whoppers. And again, my mother called the poison center. The man who picked up the phone is a lovely young man who's the friend of a guy who I used to go to high school with. And she basically went, what's going to happen? I don't know. He ate 3 eggs. What's going to happen? And again, I was fine because I've got a stomach and an immune system like adamantium. He gave my mom an answer that if I had been older, I would have died laughing. And I'm so upset that I didn't understand the comedy in this statement. And he basically waits for my mom to calm down and he goes, the eggs won't hatch. He told a panicking woman, afraid for her son's safety and health, that the eggs he just ate won't hatch. Which is one of the greatest things I've ever heard. Anyway, that's all I got for this.